As far as the events of today are concerned, we're going to say a few words in here. We're then going to go outside and have a tree tapping as a ceremonial way to kick off the maple season here in Chautauqua County. And then you'll be free to visit with the maple producers that are here. Robert Black is running his evaporator as we speak, and we'll have opportunities to see some of the steam and smell the fresh, fragrant maple syrup as it's being produced. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Gail Black and let her come up and say a few words about her operation here. Thank you.
Hi, glad you're all here. Very welcome to the Sugar Shack. I hope you all get to go outside and see the evaporator running. It's around the end of the building. We are here on the banks of Lake Erie, 1 mile east of Barcelona Harbor in the town of Westfield. The Sugar Shack has been here since 1993. We have been regular members of the Chautauqua County Maple Producers Association, and many of them are here today with their samples out in the front part of the building for you to try. We are offering maple cappuccinos, which we do every Sunday as well at our pancake breakfast. We are also offering maple sundaes. So be sure you get some of their samples and some of our samples, and we're happy you came to Westfield. We hope you'll come back often. We also make fruit syrups here, 27 different kinds, and we serve pancakes on Sundays. Some of the other maple producers have some wonderful things going on too during this season, so please see them before you leave. Thank you all for coming.
One of the main purposes of this event each year is to promote maple syrup in general, but also one of the big events, Maple Weekend, which is a statewide marketing effort that the maple producers have put together. And we're very fortunate to have our executive director of the New York State Maple Producers Association with us today. And I'd like Mary Jeanne to come up and introduce herself and talk a little bit about the maple industry in New York and Maple Weekend in general.
Thank you.
You're going to get one of those remote controls then, so you can just raise it and lower it.
Get that in the budget for me.
Yeah, let's talk to Meryl about that. Oh my God. Okay. Well,
It's great to be here with all of you fellow producers and many dignitaries. And thank you so much for hosting your 4th annual event. As David said, we're getting ready for a big event, statewide event, on March 21st and 22nd, and again on the 28th and 29th of March. It's New York State's 14th annual Maple Weekend. This year about 125 producers from all across New York State are participating. There will be a ton of great events, from tastings and tours, of course, to special programs for the kids, guided woods walks, horse-drawn wagon rides, you name it, and it'll be going on at 125 locations statewide. New York State is pretty pleased with itself, but we have more work to do. We're now the 2nd largest producer of maple syrup in the United States. In 2008, that amounted to about 325,000 gallons of syrup, and we are headed for #1. One of the ways in which we can do that is to find more people interested in becoming maple producers. Unlike our competitors, New York State only taps about 1% of all their sugar maple trees. Many of you may not realize that the state tree here in New York is actually the sugar maple. If we could double the number of trees we tap, that's just 2% of all our maple trees, we would be the leader of maple production in the United States. Right now, the value of maple industry in New York is about $32 million. So imagine what doubling that would mean. Now there's real economic stimulus. And there's a couple of things that has to happen in order to get to that $64 million industry mark. We need producers who are in business now to be able to expand their business. What do they need to expand? They need access to new technology. With that technology, they'd have more time to add more taps and be in the woods. We need folks who are thinking about becoming producers to give it a try. And our friends at Cornell Cooperative Extension have wonderful beginning producer programs all over the state. Many other pieces of technical support exist for those folks who'd like to give it a try. Like the idea of syrup, don't want to give it a try? But what about leasing trees? A lot of the people who own trees in New York State have no interest in being sugar makers, but sure have an interest in eating syrup. There's a nearby producer, there's 1,500 producers in New York State. One of them would be delighted to lease your trees. Here's an issue for New York State itself. DEC owns about 4 million acres of forested land in our state. On those acres, we could probably come up with about 20 million taps. There are maple producers out there who would pay the state of New York 50 cents, maybe even 75 cents a tap. Now there's more economic stimulus in which an industry pays the state instead of the other way around. The problem is DEC doesn't have the staff to administer the leasing programs. So there's an issue that we all need to work on, is getting access to those state-owned lands for tapping those trees.